What's up? How you doing? Oh man, yesterday was nuts. It was freaking nuts. What's good? What's good? It is DylanLasagna live, back at it again. Episode number 44. We're close to the lucky number 50. I wonder what we're gonna do for that episode. There should be some good topics once we get to there. It's been kind of dry these past couple of months, actually couple of weeks. There hasn't been a lot of gaming news. 2020 has not been the greatest start so far. We had the coronavirus, we had the unfortunate passing of Kobe, too much politics, and it's honestly been a train wreck so far in 2020. And yesterday's pay-per-view for WWE Super Showdown was another case of that, add another addition to the 2020 train wreck. But I don't know, it's something. Yesterday's pay-per-view was something, and so has been this year. But anyway, we're here to talk about that. Time for the plugs first. So if you're not already, make sure you subscribe, like, dislike, however you feel about DylanLasagna Live, or me, DylanLasagna, your host, for these live podcast streams where I talk about a variety of topics each and every week, mainly about professional wrestling and gaming, because those are the two things that I like so far, actually in my whole life. But I also talk about a bunch of other random stuff. Like last week, we talked about AEW wrestling highlights of the week, and about the NFL proposed playoff changes that may be coming in the upcoming 2020 season. So if you missed that episode, go check that out before you watch this one. After you watch this one. But anyway, do all that stuff, turn on that notification bell. Yesterday we put a bow onto the gift wrap of the GTA San Andreas 100% no cheat stream. That's a long name, I know, but we finally wrapped that up. We can finally move on and playing other games. So in case you want to watch all the GTA San Andreas streams that I've done for the past month and a half, those are on the channel as well. This weekend, I don't know what day I plan on doing it, either Saturday or Sunday. I plan on reacting to, here, let me pull it up here. Let's see if I can up here. Not that's the Super Showdown card. There it is. I plan on reacting to this. This is actually one of my favorite characters in the SMG4 universe. So I'm gonna live stream react. I'm gonna do a live stream reaction to the first ever SMG4 movie. As long as I don't get struck down. So I actually don't know how long this is gonna be. Probably like a good hour and a half. Like probably the same length as a regular movie. But so obviously you can see the title character, Meggy. She's one of my favorite, actually if not my favorite character in the SMG4 universe. We're gonna be live reacting to this sometime over the weekend, because obviously I want to know how long this thing is. So it's premiering tomorrow, so we're gonna find out how long exactly this thing's gonna be. So that's tomorrow. But today, let's get right into it. Super Showdown. My reactions from yesterday's house show, because there was really not much other than the ending that you missed. Now, why exactly did I watch stupid Bore Down? Because I want to talk to you guys about it. This is what my live podcast is about. Talking about pro wrestling, everything about WWE, and yes, AEW, and gaming. Those are the two main things that I like talking to you guys about. So let's talk about Super Showdown. The whole SMG4 Maggie's Destiny thing was pretty much my random tidbit. So I hope to react to that. But let's get into this, because I have a lot to say about Super Showdown. The fourth, or is it fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th? I don't know how many Saudi Arabia events there have been for WWE, but they've been doing it for like 2 years. Let's just give them that. They've been doing Saudi Arabia pay-per-views for 2 years. They're now second year. There's their third full year of doing pay-per-views in the country. Obviously, the card on paper appeared pretty weak because obviously a lot of wrestlers over time refused to go to the country, like John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn because he's Syrian and he can't go into the country. Aleister Black can't go. Randy Orton was not even booked on the card. Obviously Roman Reigns was there, even though like a couple of years ago he didn't want to go to Crown Jewel before he got diagnosed with leukemia. We also didn't have we didn't have like we didn't even have Hulk Hogan, even though he was reportedly scheduled to be there. But yeah, not too much star power on this show, not too many, and it's very understandable. There's a lot of shady stuff going on in that country that I would not want to go there. And the last time they were out there were a lot of travel issues. There were a lot of travel issues with flying out there. Like there were reports that Vince cut the live feed of Crown Jewel, and the Saudi government got them back by delaying the wrestlers' flights back home for Smackdown. That's why we got the NXT Takeover episode of Smackdown in November. That was like the night after the Niners Cardinals game on Halloween, pretty much. So that happened, and here we are again with another Saudi event. So again, this was like pretty much a big time waster. This event went on for like 3.5 hours. And I was watching it on my way to school, and I pretty much watched it for the majority of my radio production class. Thankfully I didn't have to go on the air that day because I already went on like on Tuesday. So I was watching Super Showdown while preparing for my next show, next week for that class. And I don't know, I think out of all the Saudi shows they've done, even though Saudi shows are pretty much terrible in general, this one has to be the worst. Everything just felt off. There was like, this felt very much like a house show, and everything just felt very sloppy from the beginning. And yes, to top it all off, obviously people are pissed about the main event, and I'll get into that later because like I have my own thoughts about this main event. That's why I didn't like tweet anything. I wanted to tweet about something about that main event because I was very pissed when I saw it, and I even wanted to talk about it on last night's San Andreas finale, but I was just like, you know what? Let's save it for today. Let's save it for right now, for this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live. So let's get right into the card. Let's get right into the stupid bore down card. We first had the Tukwe Trophy, I don't know how to pronounce that, gauntlet match. Oh wait, there was a pre-show match, but I didn't really care for it. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson beat the Viking Raiders, but it's just like the Viking Raiders get pinned nowadays anyway, so it's like, who cares? So we obviously had the opening match of the show, the newest like achievement for Saudi shows, this 2Quay trophy. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a new trophy gauntlet match. So you had R-Truth, Bobby Lashley, Eric Rowan, AJ Styles, and Rey Mysterio. Oh yeah, and Andrade. I forgot about Andrade. So R-Truth and Bobby Lashley are starting this match pretty much, and honestly, I like having R-Truth starting these things because I just find him. I've always found R-Truth entertaining, like especially from starting at 2012, 2013, no, 2014, when he started doing that really dumb stuff, like all the my bad, and thinking the Royal Rumble was a Money in the Bank ladder match, and the early 24/7 title stuff. Obviously a 24/7 title is meaningless now, but R-Truth can still be a good like entertainer when needed. So R-Truth was getting his ass handed by Bobby Lashley, but Truth did the John Cena comeback because he thinks Cena is his childhood hero. I'll explain why I think they should have a Mania match, but that'll never happen. But he did the Cena comeback, and he even got the Saudi crowd, which was really silent. Like this was a really low turnout for the Saudi crowd for this one. They finally got them into it, but Truth still couldn't do the attitude adjustment because Lashley was too heavy. But he managed to dodge a spear from the Lash. So the Lash, he was trying to like wake himself up from that missed spear, but like the dumbass he is, he tripped over R-Truth and was eliminated on a fruit roll up. Man, how the mighty have fallen because of the Lash. Poor Bobby Lashley, man. First he steals Lana away from Rusev, but he can't do anything with it. Then he gets dragged into the Liv Morgan storyline, which doesn't go anywhere. Then he gets eliminated by R-Truth because he tripped and fell like a doofus. It's like the post match attack by R-Truth didn't even save him from being an idiot. But he was made an even bigger idiot because of the next competitor, Andrade. Yeah, Andrade, the recently suspended Andrade, came back, dominated R-Truth, and yeah, remember how I said things were very sloppy in this show? Well, after 5 minutes of pretty much nothing, Andrade tried to go for like a backswing elbow, but instead the two headbutted each other, and I don't know. Truth managed to eliminate Andrade off that miscue. So I thought at this point either R-Truth was gonna eliminate or R-Truth was gonna win this whole thing because of how much luck he was having, or both Lashley and Andrade were doing some really dumb shit backstage that they carried it over into the ring to have like a big ass botchamania moment. I don't know. I think at this point it's just like, yeah, I thought R-Truth was gonna win it, and why the hell not? Might as well have his like Saudi Mania moment here. So here comes Eric Rowan. He's the next competitor. He pretty much does what everyone else has been doing to R-Truth: dominate, until he acts like a dumbass himself because R-Truth supposedly knocked over his pet cage animal, whatever's still inside that thing. So Eric Rowan sees that, even though he's the one that threw R-Truth into the steel steps. Eric Rowan sees that the hiding thing in the cage is knocked over. He sees this, he picks up the steel steps, and he hits R-Truth with it. So R-Truth is still in the match, but he's pretty much like significantly fatigued. He has an injured shoulder. AJ Styles is out next, and he now gives R-Truth an injured leg. My leg. And he starts doing Fortnite dances to taunt R-Truth. Oh, AJ, you old man. So anyway, AJ does some Fortnite dances, and then, you know what? It's time for business. AJ makes R-Truth tap out to the calf crusher. Thanks for coming, Truth. You at least did your dues. So, Rey Mysterio is supposed to be the last one to face AJ Styles, but after 2 times to come out, he no-shows. I thought Rey Mysterio, didn't fly out. Originally supposed to be Rusev, but I guess he didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. So Rey Mysterio is shown being attacked by the OC, Carl Gallows and Anderson, and AJ's there laughing. He's like, ha 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 ha, and he's demanding the ref and Mike Rome to declare him the winner, and they have no choice but to give anyone in the back a chance until the 10 count before they have to give Styles a forfeit win and the mountain trophy. So around the 5 count, it's like they show on the really big Titantron screen that Gallows and Anderson are now getting their ass handed by an unknown assailant, and guess who that unknown assailant is? Well, they pretty much give it away because it's starts walking, and it's pretty much the trench coat gives it away. It's the Undertaker. The Undertaker comes walking, he stops for a second, and then he starts walking to the ring. AJ Styles is shook. He's like, oh shit. He's like, oh no, it's the Undertaker. It's like, no, he can't compete in this match. He's not scheduled to be in here. Well, it's like, well, what do you want? The ref's like, well, what do you want me to do? There's no one else left. So the Undertaker takes his sweet time walking to the ring. He gets his big entrance for the Saudi fans. AJ pokes him in the chest. He's like, you're not supposed to be here. Get the hell out of here. But Undertaker grabs him by the throat, choke slams him. If you notice, he didn't even take off his coat or take off his hat. He's just he went to full on beast mode, chokeslammed AJ Styles, and pretty much got the win and the meaningless trophy. What's up, noob? And yeah, Undertaker won the gauntlet match in pretty much the same manner as Shane McMahon won that stupid Best in the World tournament back at Crown Jewel 2018. So I guess they're pretty much setting up Undertaker and AJ Styles at WrestleMania, but I'm just thinking to myself, why do they need to? Especially after this. After Undertaker showed up, squashed AJ Styles, and did what he did. It's is there really a point to now? I mean, obviously AJ in storyline can make the excuse that, oh, I wasn't ready. It's he wasn't supposed to be in the match, but it's just he attacked Rey Mysterio and he beat up on a clearly fatigued R-Truth, and he pretty much had so much energy to be in that, to take on the next competitor. So I was just can anyone really believe that? But I mean, I will admit that AJ Styles could be a much different opponent for Undertaker. He's faster, he's younger than the Undertaker, and for his own age, for AJ Styles' own age, he still can pull off the athletic moves that the Undertaker can't at his age. But we'll see what happens, but this is clearly the direction that they're going in. Now, up next, we had the Smackdown Tag Team Championship match between the New Day and The Miz and John Morrison. personally, this was my match of the night for me. This like their team like the chemistry between both teams was, for a first match between them as tag teams facing each other, pretty well done. So New Day nearly won this match on a midnight hour on Morrison, but Miz just barely broke up the pin. He barely broke up the pin, and Kofi saw this, and he went to do a trust fall suicide over the top jumping dive on the Miz, but he completely missed. It looked kind of cringy when it's like he almost broke his back on that fall. So Miz, it's 2-on-1 now, and it's like Miz hit a skull crushing finale on Big E, but he only got 2, and then Morrison missed Starship Pain. So Kofi tagged in Big E later, and then he was fighting the Miz. They traded roll-ups with the Miz and Kofi tried to get a roll-up on the Miz again, but on the second one, after Miz kicked out, John Morrison out of nowhere hit Kofi with a steel chair to the gut while the referee was checking on the Miz, and then the Miz pinned Kofi on the fruit roll-up with assistance from holding the tights. So pretty much Miz and Morrison are your tag team champions, and honestly, I'm happy about it. It's been 10 years since they've been tag team champions. They're still an entertaining duo. They could still have good matches with the New Day, and then once that's no longer a fresh option, they can have matches with the Usos. And then if they're still champions, I really don't know what else they can do. Let's see here. Smackdown is starting. I'm going to see if I can put it on. Because I don't know which one's going to be opening segment. But as I'm waiting for that, let's continue on. Angel Garza versus Humberto Carrillo. There, like, the matches at the Miz and Morrison, there were a lot that I just didn't give a shit about. Like this one, I didn't care. I did not care. It's like, why should I care about Angel Garza and why should I care about Humberto Carrillo? It's like, Carrillo keeps losing. He's like, he keeps losing, yet WWE keeps spotlighting him. It's like, you're showcasing a guy that keeps losing. He has no gimmick, like most of the wrestlers. Yeah, like most of the wrestlers in AEW, and even when he eventually does buy a win, I won't really care. The dude can't even get a reaction in Saudi. That's just how bad Humberto Carrillo is. And Angel Garza is only there because Andrade was smoking too much of Charlotte's blunt. Or maybe Charlotte gave him a blunt, she didn't smoke it, and Andrade did. I don't know. This is bad, man. This was just something I didn't care about. All right, let's see who's starting it.
Your first round choice for auto insurance. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the new Universal.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, boo that man. Boo this man. I was gonna talk about Goldberg later, but let's see what he's gonna say. I'm so glad that he's coming out to this reaction. He's getting booed.
Goldberg is the new Universal Champion. Last night at Super Showdown in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Goldberg did the unthinkable, shocking the planet, Corey, defeating the Fiend for the Universal title.
I honestly thought the show was gonna start with John Cena, but
Goldberg making history last night in more ways than one. A photograph of him holding the Universal Championship posted to WWE's Instagram account.
this is actually pretty good.
With over
no one's liking this scene right now.
That shows you the impact of this man, Goldberg.
Like they WWE fucked up. WWE fucked up. It's like shouldn't have put the title on Goldberg. And what's he gonna say? Uh-oh, Boston's pissed. Boston is pissed. What the hell did you just spit out? Let's turn it up. I can't hear it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man. Wait, in WCW has Goldberg ever been booed?
Do not be mistaken. It's not about who was last.
It was about who was next.
It's all about who's next.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This is not good. People are cheering now, but once they get to Tampa, it's gonna be a whole different thing. Oh dear.
Could Roman Reigns be next, Cole?
This is the thing I'm gonna talk about later. When this is the whole thing in the thumbnail, guys. Oh no. Come on, do the stupid. Oh, you're not gonna do it yet.
Roman Reigns fresh off a steel cage match victory over King Corbin at
I wonder how they're not jet lagged. They probably are jet lagged, but they're just not showing it.
Staring a hole through the Universal Champion Goldberg.
Really taking their time with this.
Roman Reigns is out here, Corey, but staring at Goldberg, acknowledging the WWE Universe, all part of these psychological games that Roman likes to play with all his potential opponents. Right now, the tension in here is so thick, you need a chainsaw to cut through it.
Okay. Alright. Let me continue talking about Super Showdown while Roman's taking his sweet time in the ring. Okay. So we had the Raw Tag Team Championship with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. Oh wait, not my Buddy Murphy. Going up against the Street Profits. I'll just say it was decent at best. Obviously not as good as the earlier tag team match we saw. Oh wait, well, let's see if Roman's about to speak. But Buddy Murphy saved Seth from a high-reaching frog splash from Montez Ford. It was like it was like a high jump, man. Montez Ford pretty much hit a high frog splash. All right, let's see what's gonna happen. Oh, they're chanting, "You both suck." Told y'all they never should have taken the title off of Bray Wyatt. But hold on. Oh, here.
I'm next.
Oh dear.
A goosebump moment to start off Friday Night Smackdown here tonight. Can you imagine if this clash happens. Goldberg reigns for the Universal Championship.
No, no. No, it's not a good moment, Michael Cole.
I mean, Corey, think about this. Think about if this happens 5 weeks from Sunday, Tampa, Florida, at WrestleMania. Goldberg, the Hall of Famer, the icon, the brand new Universal Champion who last night at Super Showdown shocked the entire world, winning the Universal title against the man who was main evented.
All right. Well, that just happened. They pretty much teased what I don't want to happen, what I never want to happen. But let's continue on there because before we continue talking about that. So Murphy distracts the referee. This allowed Seth Rollins to hit Angelo Dawkins. Seth Rollins was not the legal man, by the way. Hits Angelo Dawkins with the turd stomp, and Murphy pins Dawkins to retain the Raw Tag Team titles. Yeah, not too much happened here. I don't think the Street Profits were built up enough to like take away the tag team titles. So I think their inclusion in this whole thing was kind of late anyway. So I don't know. I just don't think this match was for me. Next, we had one of the most predictable WWE Championship matches to date: Brock Lesnar, Ricochet. All Brock Lesnar did in this match was take his big shovel, took Ricochet to Suplex City. He began to dig the hole that Ricochet was gonna be in. He F5'd Ricochet into the catering grave, and he put the dirt onto Ricochet. But I will give Ricochet some credit. He lasted a minute longer than Kofi Kingston. But it's on to Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre. That's all that matters. So speaking of Roman Reigns, yesterday it seems that his feud with Baron Corbin is finally over with, considering what we just heard. They faced off in a steel cage match at Stupid's Bore Down. One of my friends pointed out yesterday while we were watching this at how small the steel cage looked in comparison to AEW's. Spot on. Anyway, I don't know. I was just completely bored with this match. This is a match that normally happens at a house show, but hey, Saudi shows are always house shows anyway. So I don't know. Roman did bring a chain to lock the door, but WWE was like, fuck logic. Let's just give Roman the key so Baron Corbin can steal it from him later and unlock the door. So there was literally no point in bringing the chain, other than to use it as a weapon, because Roman won the match with a chain wrapped Superman punch. And I just hope that, well, from this rate, from what we just heard, the feud between Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin is finally put to rest when it should have ended when Roman Reigns finally put dog food on Corbin. In the second to last match, we had the Smackdown Women's Champion Bayley going up against Naomi. Now, obviously, due to Saudi's strict dress code for women in that country, Bayley and Naomi had to wear full bodysuits and baggy t-shirts like Natalia and Lacey Evans. I'm not going to go too far into that stuff because I don't want to get in trouble. But I will admit, Naomi took full advantage of that by wearing a glow-in-the-dark bodysuit. That glow-in-the-dark stuff was pretty dope. But there's pretty much not too much to report here like the majority of these matches, because Naomi nearly got the win, but she missed a split-legged moonsault. I don't know why I put here moon daily. Freaking autocorrect. So Bayley took advantage of that. And she also took advantage of the fact that they had to wear t-shirts by sticking Naomi's foot into the shirt and slamming her face into the ground for the win. creative finish there. I like that. I just think that even as a heel, Bayley is just not very believable. She's just doing the generic heel stuff by disowning the crowd, crushing people's dreams. That's it. There's nothing unique about Bayley as a face or a heel. Some of that's on her, some of that's on the writing team. I really just don't know what to say about Bayley at this point. Other than she's thick. I can't hold myself to that standard. I mean, Bayley is on Smackdown right now, but I mean, who else is really gonna challenge her at this point? Sasha Banks can, but even her own credibility has been shot by sticking with Bayley. And she's been injured. So there's been no legit threat to dethrone Bayley, especially after yesterday. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the Fiend. Oh, are they really doing a rematch from Super Showdown? They are. Okay. I'll have to check that out later. But this is the moment you've all been waiting for. My thoughts on the Fiend, Bray Wyatt losing to Goldberg. Let's talk about this. The biggest concern I had here was WWE hotshotting and ruining the momentum of the Fiend after what, 6 months? So that after actually a year, because Bray Wyatt had to like start the whole Firefly Funhouse the night after WrestleMania last year. So it's like I was worried they were gonna hotshot it because not only that obviously WWE didn't want to disappoint Goldberg, but also the Saudi government. More on that later. The match itself was pretty much given away on Smackdown from last week. Goldberg hits the spear on the Fiend. Wyatt kicks out and immediately clutched the mandible claw on Goldberg. Goldberg broke out of the mandible claw, hit 2 more spears, and then Wyatt got another mandible claw in. Goldberg broke out of it again. Hit a 4th spear. Wyatt kicked out again, and at this point, Goldberg was visibly frustrated that he couldn't put Bray Wyatt away. Wait, what's Bayley saying?
I should not even have to be here right now, especially in front of you little idiots. Yeah, I already made history last night when I beat you, Naomi. So relax. But I am here for one reason and one reason only. So allow me to introduce to you a future Grammy Award-winning, future multi-platinum selling artist. She's better than Beyonce.
This Sasha
She's
Banks.
better than Cardi B. She is the one, the only Sasha.
Yeah, it's Sasha.
Well, it's boss time.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. What is Bayley supposed to be? Okay, anyway, moving on. So Sasha's back with that stupid entrance music. So Goldberg is frustrated that he can't put away the Fiend. The Fiend tries to go for another mandible claw, but he can't because Goldberg lifts him up for a suplex. Oh wait, sorry. A jackhammer to win the Universal Championship. This is where we are now. So, as you know, as most people are, I'm very mad. I'm still very mad. But I had a day to think about it. And you know what? I wanted to think about this from multiple angles on why exactly WWE decided to be a dumb shit. Here are some of those angles that came to mind. Well, Goldberg winning completely ruins the Fiend. Even if he wins his supposed match at WrestleMania against John Cena. Yeah, they're rumored to have a match, but it's like big whoop. Even if the Fiend wins, it's like, oh, here comes Lacey Evans, by the way. Even if the Fiend wins, it's like, what point is there for the Fiend like beating John Cena now? If this was for the Universal title and the Fiend beats Cena, that would have been so much better. It's like the Fiend is trying to avenge his loss to Cena from WrestleMania 30, and Cena is trying to get his 17th world title. I think that would have a much better sell than the match we're gonna get, the Universal title match we're gonna get, that I'm gonna explain later. So I don't know. I don't know how Bray Wyatt's Fiend gimmick is gonna recover. I don't know. Like most people say, I know everyone's saying the Fiend is ruined. The Fiend is ruined. The Fiend is ruined. But I'm just gonna see in the follow-up. What the hell is that, Lacey Evans? But anyway, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna like give it. I'm gonna see tonight. I'm going to see tonight what they do with the Fiend. If they fuck it up, then okay, we could say the Fiend is fucked. The Fiend is dead. But I'm gonna give tonight's Smackdown to see if they really fuck up the Fiend. Second angle. Everyone's been canceling WWE Network. Everyone's saying go to AEW. You know what? Honestly, WWE giving the title to Goldberg again, hot-shotting the Fiend, almost made me rejoin the AEW bandwagon because of yet another piss-poor decision by WWE. This pointed out yet again that they can't build up full-time marketable new stars. They always have to rely on part-timers. And don't tell me Becky Lynch, under her "man, I'm the man" mark here, when that has become as stale as the bread from church. At the same time, what marketable stars other than Jericho, Moxley, and Cody, and I can't even say the Young Bucks and Omega, what stars in AEW have been marketable? When all they do in AEW, when most of the roster like WWE's, all they do all they do in AEW is do this. This is what they do in AEW. Look at me, I'm doing flips, flippies. I'm doing the ballerina. Look at me. And the crowd goes wild. Oh shit, look at that flip. Look at that flip. Holy shit, did you see that guy do that? Did you see that guy do that big ass flip? Holy shit, whoa. Whoa. That is AEW in pretty much 30 seconds or less. I hope I didn't ruin my bed or some shit. I hope I didn't like break my bed. But that's all AEW does. Flips, kicks. Oh yeah, I didn't even do kicks. Hiya, hiya. Whoa. Super kick party. Ugh. Oh, look at me, super kick party. I'm the Young Bucks. Oh, we have no characters. Oh, we want to do super kick parties, spot orgies. Wee! That's AEW. That's AEW. Super kick parties, spot orgies, pandering to the indie fans, and realizing that they can't hit 1 million viewers because they can't appeal to both sides of the wrestling fandom. They can't appeal to the casuals, even though they don't want to admit they want to appeal to the hardcore fan base. When it's the casuals, I can't breathe. when it's the casuals that will also bring you the success for pro wrestling, the marks ain't gonna cut it for you. Man, that was my second exercise for today. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was about to say, but Dylan, Jericho's an old fuck too. That's the world champion. Yes, Jericho is an old fuck. But unlike Goldberg, Jericho is a draw. It's still a draw. AEW is still... I'm being a little hypocritical here. Actually, I am being hypocritical. It's still fresh off the boat. It's still new. Actually, it's still a year old, but that's still pretty new. And at Jericho's age, unlike Goldberg and unlike Brock Lesnar, he wrestles a full-time schedule in AEW. He at least appears at AEW on a weekly basis. So, don't tell me that Jericho is an old fuck that doesn't appear on weekly pro wrestling on a part-time basis like Goldberg and Brock Lesnar do. Chris Jericho is a full-time wrestler that at least appears that still at least appears weekly on AEW on a weekly. I'm struggling here. Let me rephrase that. At least Jericho at his age, 50 plus years, still wrestles on a full-time basis and puts on quality matches at his age. And this is weekly. Yeah, he had some duds here and there, but it's Jericho. It's like, what quality match has Goldberg had in his like so-called resurgence? Brock Lesnar has had a few good matches. The one against CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, but most of his matches during his WWE run after he retired from the UFC in 2011 there were a lot of duds. There were a lot of duds. The point is, with that, because I keep going on a tangent, is that it's like don't jump on the AEW bandwagon yet, because it's just like you're setting yourself up to fail. All right. Now, for the last prospective angle I'm taking on this, and this is actually my first one. This is my initial reaction to the Goldberg winning the Universal title from the hottest act in wrestling. One of the hottest acts in wrestling, obviously. You got Jericho and AEW. Oh, Goldberg winning, as we saw in the opening segment of Smackdown, is all a setup for Roman Reigns to win the title at WrestleMania in a sea of cheers. But as indicated with the opening segment of Smackdown, that looks like it's not going to happen. You really think you have to be stupid as hell to think that's going to happen? But hell, your mileage may vary. You think that'll happen, and I don't know. this is the world we live in a world of smarks, yeah, internet wrestling community. I don't know. I just feel bad for Roman, like, because of this. It's like he didn't want to be put in this situation. He really didn't. It's like he worked. How long was he out of the title scene? A year, and it could have been longer, like for his own sake. I don't know. The reactions both of them got is a clear indication of what they're gonna get at WrestleMania. You heard the chant, "You both suck." Goldberg came out to boos in C-Town, Boston Celtic Town. So, what faith should I have in that this is going to be a good match for any of them? This is a no-win situation. I mean, Roman beating the Fiend obviously would have been worse, for sure, because it's Roman beats the Fiend, then yeah, he's going to get red hot boos, obviously. I mean, but at the same time, it's just like someone had to beat the Fiend, because the Fiend Bray Wyatt's reign was good. In all seriousness, was not as great as one would think. I mean, yeah, he had a really good match with Daniel Bryan, but it's like he would in his Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt version, he faced The Miz, and then he won the title from Seth Rollins way too early. When he was thrust into that position when he never should have been. That's the reason why Bray Wyatt won the title, because WWE thrust him in a position that he never should have been in. Because I don't know, they really wanted to rush things. It's like, I don't know. I feel like we would have never been in this position if Bray Wyatt never gotten the title. And I don't think the Fiend needs a title like right now. So I don't know. I'm just thinking, especially now, giving Bray Wyatt the Universal title at Crown Jewel, or even putting him in the Universal title scene against Seth Rollins back in September, was a big mistake. And clearly, I think now WWE set up the Fiend to fail. No matter how much hard work Bray Wyatt himself, not Vince, Bray Wyatt, did to make this character as great as it's been until Super Showdown, of course. Now going back to the Roman, I just feel for him. You know, it was a year ago where he announced that he came back, his leukemia is in remission, and he doesn't care about titles and all that stuff. He wants to be the best that he can be for the crowd. And over time, throughout the rest of the year, I mean, yeah, the boos were still resurgent at Mania, but it's just like, you can barely hear the boos. The cheers were outgrowing the boos. It's like I know the boos were still there at the Royal Rumble, but it's just like on a weekly basis, the boos are non-existent. Yeah, you could attribute that to the Smarks not being in the crowd, but even in an area like Boston, which is still a strong wrestling town, the boos are just not there. The cheers are outgrowing the boos. So to have WWE erase all that good work that they're doing to Roman by keeping him away from the title scene, and to have him face off against Goldberg, a dude that just killed off the momentum of the hottest act in wrestling, who's now getting booed, a legend in Goldberg that's getting booed. This is an even worse situation than what the Fiend versus Roman Reigns could be in. This is like, even if Goldberg versus Roman was gonna happen, it should have never been for the title. That's why I'm saying the Fiend versus John Cena for the Universal title is a much more appealing story than Goldberg versus Roman. Like, The only thing you could say with Goldberg versus Roman that's interesting is that Roman Reigns never lost the title because he had to surrender it to leukemia, and that's it. I mean, it's a nice story and all, but look how much more you could play into the story with the storylines, and there's a lot of sub stories you could tell with the Fiend Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. As I mentioned earlier, the Fiend's significant impact on losing to John Cena at WrestleMania 30, and how that led to his downward spiral, before climbing back up into becoming the Fiend and this unstoppable force that he was before losing to Goldberg, obviously. And then you obviously have John Cena coming back from his acting commitments, wanting to have one more run at capturing breaking Ric Flair's world championship record. So now that doesn't happen. Now it doesn't happen. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know how they're gonna convince people that Goldberg versus Roman Reigns is gonna be a good, at least a decent match at WrestleMania, when we know it's just set up for Roman to win the title in what will most likely be a similar situation with Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg at WrestleMania 20. Everyone's gonna get booed. Obviously, none of them are gonna leave, but it's just they're gonna get booed. You heard what happened in the opening segment. Nobody is gonna like what's gonna eventually go down. And WWE, unfortunately, will probably never see the light in day that unlike with WrestleMania 30, where they had to change the main event for Daniel Bryan, they're gonna be adamant with Goldberg versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, whether you like it or not. And that's the unfortunate reality. So, should I switch this back? Okay. Alright, I think I did. But, I don't know, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But that's pretty much my thoughts about Super Showdown. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. We're like a month before WrestleMania, a month and a half. Elimination Chamber is next Sunday. I think it should be a little more interesting than Super Showdown was, but I'm just not particularly excited for the Universal title match at this point, because it just completely killed the Fiend. Or I don't know, it could kill the Fiend, it could not kill the Fiend. It's all in the follow-up. It's just all in the follow-up. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's it for me. I'm gonna check out the rest of Smackdown as it's happening. For all my West Coasters, I'm watching Smackdown by means. For all you West Coasters, Smackdown's on at 8 tonight. Smackdown for East Coasters is obviously on right now. But we'll see what happens on the road to WrestleMania. But right now, I'm just not happy with how they threw a curveball at us, a complete curveball at us on the SmackDown side, at least. The Raw side, we'll see what happens. But anything can happen in WrestleMania. Just don't let this one bad thing, I know there's been a multitude of bad things, just don't let this be the defining thing that makes you go, oh, let me jump ship to AEW. As you saw my little tantrum act earlier. Don't let that be the one defining thing that makes you jump full sail to AEW. But that's your call at the end of the day. I'm just here to give you my thoughts on this whole thing. But anyway, that's it for this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live. I'm obviously your host, Dylan Lasagna. Make sure you give this live stream podcast episode a like. If you didn't like it, you can obviously dislike it. leave a comment if you're watching the replay. I appreciate all the viewers watching this live or watching the replay. Next week's topic, we'll see what's there to discuss. Maybe some Elimination Chamber predictions, maybe not. If there's a Nintendo Direct next week, I'll obviously react to that, and next week's episode of DylanLasagna Live will reflect my in-depth discussions on what may happen in the Direct. I don't know. We don't know if there'll be a Direct next week. It'll be probably next week, 2 weeks, E3. I don't know. But just keep an eye out. There's always something to talk about. Mostly. But we'll see. Anyway, everyone, thank you for tuning in. If you aren't already, subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. If you like, you can follow me on social media. It's all in the description. But yeah, that's it for me. And always be delicious. And I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone. I'm out.